Yes. Alright, yeah, music. Oh, whoops, I should probably put that away.
What?
Welcome, everyone. You can see my desktop on this. I got a whole new setup going on. But welcome, everybody, to the Late Night Podcast.
Hey!
Here I am, Matthew Costa, here with Shiva Von Shiva tonight. Just me and him tonight, because we've got a shit ton of stuff to talk about. And what was that thing that I was looking at about Logan Airport on my Facebook? It says, it's trending on Facebook is what it is. Logan International Airport. Nude suspect assaults 84-year-old man after falling through ceiling.
Oh, actually, I did see something about that. What the hell?
Really? What the hell was that all about?
I don't know. Someone's playing too much Assassin's Creed, I guess.
I guess so. That's insane.
That's what happens when you play Assassin's Creed and then do meth.
It's just the most ridiculous, line I've ever seen on Facebook. It's just nude suspect. That's the first part that gets your attention, and then assaults 84-year-old man, and then it's after falling through a ceiling. Like, what?
I actually saw a news headline one time. I just logged on to Comcast, and it said, "Fat Panda refuses to have sex."
What?
Yep.
Wow.
It was an article about how... Well, I mean, it was pretty fucking self-explanatory. The fat pandas just didn't want to fuck. I don't know. They were too out of shape, I guess.
That's funny, because that actually makes you think of a Robin Williams joke. I don't know if you ever saw him live on Broadway.
No, I haven't.
He has like a DVD out for it, a while ago. I love that DVD. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But,
what a segue.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're segueing into this mostly because he talks about a panda, and it's like, what was it? He's talking about like Ling Ling the panda or whatever, and he puts him in a sanctuary with another, like a female panda, so they can mate. And he wouldn't do it, and Robin Williams was making fun of the fact that he wouldn't mate with his panda, and so he does an impression of him. You know, Robin Williams. He does this impression of him he's just like, "I will not fuck that panda bitch. That panda bitch is the ugliest chick bitch I've ever seen." It was too funny, it was perfect. So that's just what I thought of when you said that, because I was like, that sounds very familiar, and then I was like, oh yeah, Robin Williams did a skit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He probably doesn't want to have sex with her because everybody's looking at him.
That's true. I don't know if I could do that, really. Especially if there's, a whole bunch of people with cameras and shit. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Not really something I want to do.
I don't think I'd have a problem with that, but I have a weird life, so... There's that.
It's too funny. Boy. Man, we got so much that we want to talk about tonight. Where do we begin? I wanted to start on some Bill Cosby today.
Ooh. Yeah, give me the full story on this, because all I see are the clickbait what do you call them?
The clickbait articles?
Yeah, the clickbait headlines.
Yeah, I've been, it's been all over the news and stuff like that. Like, Bill Cosby has been accused of sexually assaulting 15 women, and apparently 15 women have been claiming this. And I think that's absolutely obnoxious. I mean, personally, I'm just kind of skeptical. I mean, I'm not, I love Bill Cosby as a comedian, and it just doesn't really, what's the word? It doesn't connect with the kind of personality that he's got. So it's like, why would he sexually assault random people?
To be fair, I don't know fucking anybody with Bill Cosby's personality. You know, he's unique.
Oh yeah. He's a really interesting fellow, and I mean,
I was actually a little bit skeptical for him until I read that someone came out. I'm gonna look up who it is right now, but someone who's already kind of quote unquote loaded, if you will, cash, and doesn't seem like she has much to gain from it. I'm gonna look up who that is, but I was a little skeptical until I heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The accusations could be legitimate, or they couldn't be. I mean, this just makes me think of the whole Tiger Woods thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening right now? Like, one person just steps up, and then the rest of them are all like, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you know, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like, oh, all these girls are just fishing for attention. But it's like, you know, it's just kind of like this kind of thing happens. It's common. It's common even in, you know, even with non-celebrities. This kind of thing is, well, I wouldn't say this kind of thing. I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody who's got like 15 girls accusing them of raping them and shit. That's just intense. But you know, false accusations happen, and yeah, it's just sad because it's Bill Cosby. Like,
you don't want to think of Bill Cosby like that, definitely.
Right, exactly.
But you know, if it's just too. Do you know if there's any like recent accusers, like within people who would have like who have accused them within a frame of time where they could probably like prove it in some way?
Right.
Do you know if there's anyone like that, or
nobody that I care to actually remember their name? It's like they're not famous people, so it's not like it's not, I don't know, like it's not anybody from the Bill Cosby show, or as far as I know, it isn't. And there's like this whole thing where they all have the same story, which is the other thing that's kind of got me on the fence about it, whether it's true or not. And it's what was it? He would get these girls. The claims are that these girls are getting. He gets them all drugged up on something. Something like that. I don't know whether it's roofies or it's marijuana or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But it's you know, it's something, and he basically, what he does is he just ends up sexually assaulting them or convincing them otherwise to do something sexual while they're under the influence of whatever this is. And I didn't really look into the details. I've just been hearing about it everywhere, and I'm sort of like, this is Bill Cosby we're talking about. So it's like, I like I said, like I just said, you know, it's Bill Cosby, and we don't necessarily, you know, I don't want to jump to conclusions immediately. This is just kind of like one of those instances where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, he could have done those things to a couple girls, but the rest of them could also just be making it up. But you never know. You never know. And Lawrence is messaging me right now. He's telling me that apparently one of the girls that is accusing him of sexual assault was on the Cosby Show.
Oh, okay.
So that's news to me. I had no idea that was a thing at all. So thank you, Lawrence, for that tip, because I did not know that. So that's another detail that we've got going on right now that can add to all those things. So yeah, Bill Cosby. Do you think he's innocent, or do you think he's
I have
guilty?
No idea. I have no idea.
Well, that was a general question for everybody, including everybody who's tuned in. But yeah, I don't have no idea either.
Answer for everybody who's tuned in.
Yeah, everybody who's tuned in right now, you can give us your info in the comments. I can't see it right now because I've just kind of got Skype on full screen, and Shiv's beautiful face is looking right back at me.
Thanks, bro.
So yeah, we've got a bunch of Gamergate stuff to talk about.
I have no idea.
Oh my goodness.
I had to look in. I wanted to see if people were actually watching.
Oh, shit. Well, that's good. Is there anybody watching, commenting, anything?
People are watching.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Welcome. Welcome to Late Night. Anyway, so we got some Gamergate stuff we want to talk about. Shiva, why don't you take the wheel from here?
Okay.
Start the conversation.
we've decided to call this segment Gamergate History and Happenings.
Oh, nice.
And so basically we're going to talk about, first of all, some of the history. I've been working a lot this week, so I'm not really too up on the happenings, but there's some funny shit here.
Oh, God.
So basically, let's talk about the history. Since this is kind of our first time doing this segment, let's start from the very beginning.
Okay, sounds good.
So you know that for a very long time, video game reviewers of prominent quote-unquote video game review sites like Polygon and Rock Paper Shotgun, Gamasutra, and Kotaku, and all those folks have been infusing their gender and identity politics into their reviews. And, you know, this is a problem because it takes away from the objectivity of the review process by inserting things like, you know, how you feel about like the content of a game. And this is not only a problem for the buyer, but it's also a problem for developers because when these sites lower their scores based on this bullshit, their Metacritic scores take a hit as well. And sometimes developers will have contracts and they'll get bonuses based on their Metacritic scores. See what I'm saying?
Really? That's...
So they could lose out on getting those Metacritic contract bonuses because of the gender and identity politics taking down that review score.
Okay, so that's actually interesting. So basically what it is it's just kind of like, hey, cut that bias out of reviewing video games and give us a clean review. That's basically what it is.
Well, that's like what we're asking for.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So wrong.
Huh?
Does that seem so wrong?
No, it doesn't actually. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, I mean, from since I was a kid, there's always been some sort of like, I mean, the YouTuber, what's her name, Anita Sarkeesian, brought up the whole issue of damsel in distress stuff in video games, and it's just like that's just the thing that's been in storytelling since we could write shit down on a cave wall. You know, that stuff has been around for so long, and I'm not saying that you can't question it, but it's just like it works. You know, it works in the modern day, and I mean, you know, if there are people out there who want to make a female hero rescuing her boyfriend or husband or whatever, and it was a good game, like, I would be okay with that. It has nothing to do with gender or anything like that. And even if women are objectified or whatever things that these reviewers are putting in to these reviews over certain video games and the gender politics that are being injected into this stuff, I feel like it's not relevant in the video game world. You know what I mean?
It's not. Hold on to that. Let's keep on to this history for a minute.
Okay.
So anyway, you know, that's been happening for a couple of years, and all this, like, I don't know what to call it, resentment, I guess people have been feeling, and it's kind of been boiling up against this kind of like empire of review sites who we have felt to be in collusion with each other, but we couldn't really prove it, you know?
Right.
And so, like 2 or 3 years later since this all began, this fella named Aaron, I think is his name, he drops a post about this ex-girlfriend of his, whose name I'm not going to mention.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
keep going.
Don't mention her name, because she's not important.
Right.
But what was important is that the fact that she was a developer of independent games, and she had allegedly slept with reviewers and judges in the industry. Yep. So when this post hit the internet, 4chan got a hold of it. The video games forums got a hold of it, and they went nuts looking through her tweets and the tweets of the judges, and they found more collusion, stuff like that. And so it kind of expanded a little bit because now they said, all this collusion is out there. Who else is doing it out in the open so blatantly? So they started looking into it, and they found, people like Patricia Hernandez was living with a person who had, or was living with someone that she had reviewed things for and given positive press to, which is clearly, a violation of, shit. This is the problem. See, this is why I can't drink beers and do our.
That's okay. I've had a couple beers myself tonight.
But you can't be that close to the people you're reviewing. God damn it.
Yeah, it's just kind of puts you in an emotional state where it's, especially if you're sleeping with them, that for anybody, I feel like that puts you in an emotional state where you have kind of this permanent bias until you are no longer connected with them. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
That's just not right at all. You don't see, what's her name, who directed Hurt Locker? Catherine...
I love her.
Bigelow or whatever.
I love
That's like her sleeping with Roger Ebert, and Roger Ebert's like, 2 thumbs up! And it's just that's totally, everybody, that's what he's saying, but we all know that he's thinking it's sex, 2 thumbs up, It's fantastic. Yeah. It's just, you just can't do anything like that. And I can see why people were what the hell? That's a conflict of interest right there. Is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I didn't actually know that.
Putting pops all over the place. Okay. Oh, okay. Are you talking, Matt?
No, I'm.
I was like, I couldn't hear you.
Oh no, I was just waiting because you had more. I thought you had more history stuff going on.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Did you ever see that the video that Internet Aristocrat dropped, the burgers and fries video?
Oh no, and you know what? That's funny because I actually follow the Internet Aristocrat, and I haven't watched any of his videos, but he does a lot of podcasts. And I actually haven't watched much of him lately. Why? What video did he drop? What was it about?
Well, it was just an important video because it was very detailed in the facts and what was going on. And I feel like it got a lot of people involved. Are you familiar with Adam Baldwin from Firefly?
Oh, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen Firefly at all. But
okay.
The name does sound familiar.
I'm not crazy about Firefly, but it's a pretty good show. They definitely have some good episodes.
Yeah.
Some a lot better than others. And so he got involved with Gamergate too, and he actually coined the hashtag Gamergate.
Really? Wow.
And so that's how it was born, and that's my segment on the history.
That's funny to me.
That was hastily assembled an hour ago, so I'm sorry for things.
That's funny. Just because from what I've gotten, this guy, what's his name? You said Adam Baldwin?
Oh yeah, Adam Baldwin. Yep.
He started that whole thing, and he was part of Firefly.
Yes.
That was a Joss Whedon show, right? That wasn't.
Yes.
It's funny because Joss Whedon is he's like a closet feminist. I'm pretty sure he's a closet feminist.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's hilarious. There's a connection there. I don't know. I like to find connections with those kind of things, and it's so I bet Joss Whedon's all on the other side of this whole Gamergate thing, and it's
Costa, it's too bad you weren't around when this was going down. You would have been finding all the connections between these people.
Oh God! See, this is I didn't even remember where I heard it from at first. I don't know if it was from you or it was from something else, but I started hearing about this probably most likely through something to do with like Anita Sarkeesian or whatever, or The Amazing Atheist or whatever, some shit like that. I mean, even. There was even a segment on Gamergate on the Colbert Report. Did you see that clip?
I saw the Anita Sarkeesian interview, which was hilarious.
Yeah, it was
so proud of herself when
I know.
Yeah, she was so happy.
It was so like I'm
Theft Auto.
Yeah. It was so like it just made me a little annoyed because it's just like that shouldn't be what this is all about. I mean, it's like, we just want clean, unbiased reviews of video games. It has nothing to do with whatever it is that Anita Sarkeesian is claiming is all about Gamergate. And honestly, I just think that's obnoxious that there are two sides to this coin, and there's one side of it that's like, yeah, we just, we want unbiased content. And then there's the other side where it's like, we want gender equality in video games, or whatever it was. Whatever it was. No more objectification. It's like, well, 90%, I will guarantee that 90% of the video game audience is male. And it's just, it doesn't really make much sense. I'm just going to leave it like this. It just doesn't make much sense that to cater to a market or a whatchamacallit, a audience that doesn't necessarily isn't really active in the community itself.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing now. We talked about this a little bit last week. On the subject of males being 90% or whatever you just said, how we talked about how like allegedly females are now over 50% of gamers due to casual games, social networking type games, and stuff like that.
Well, see, that doesn't really make much sense to me because I don't know. I mean, call me an asshole or whatever, but it's like when you hear that and it's like, oh, Facebook games. It's like, that's never what video games are all about. So, it started with games like Doom on the computer. And that's games like that were ported to systems like Sega Genesis and the NES, and you had a controller and stuff like that. You don't controller for Farmville. You just kind of sit there, waving your mouse around. And I mean,
certainly,
it kind of sounds like I'm contradicting myself because Doom started on a computer, but it was a full quality 3D game. It wasn't like I don't know how to put it. Like, I don't know what kind of game Farmville or like the what is it, the Lord of the Rings game that's on there now, and like a whole bunch of other games that are available to you, like Candy Crush, I guess, is on Facebook now. I actually just got an invite from somebody on that on Facebook, and I was like, time to block that. And it was, I mean, it's, I don't know. You could, I've been debating this kind of thing for a long time, that some video games take more skill than others, and girls kind of play more. I mean, it's arguable because we have things like esports now. And we've got League of Legends, we've got World of Warcraft, we've got StarCraft, all these major league video games, and then there's Farmville. And if that's really what counts as a video game, then I guess I'm missing the definition of what an actual video game is. Because I always just figured those as like, I don't know, apps or extensions of a website. I don't know. I guess it's not really fair to just kind of, from an unbiased point of view, I would say that it's probably not fair that I'm just kind of like, oh, well, those aren't really games. But
Yeah.
If that's the case, then why aren't there people making more? If it's really that big of a deal, then why aren't there more people making games where women are the main antagonists? They're not antagonists, protagonists, and they're not what is it, objectified or overly sexualized or whatever bullshit that everybody's all worried about. It's because that there isn't enough, because there's more money in console games, and the console game market is dominated by men. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. Like, if girls really want to play more console games, then by all means, like, I'm more than willing to play Call of Duty with a girlfriend or whatever, or some shit like that. I mean, sometimes I just kind of, past few girlfriends I've kind of gone easy on them, where I'll just be like, all right, let's just play some Mario Party or some shit like that, and it's fun. I don't really mind any of that kind of stuff.
But real quick timeout. Can you see like my camera right now?
Not at the moment, no. Oh wait, it's loading. There it is.
In my room, real quick.
Oh, okay.
I put up Christmas lights everywhere.
Nice. All them white lights, yo.
Yeah, dude. Hello.
So yes.
Hold on. So actually, our buddy Edwin Boyett here in the chat said something I'd like to talk about. Corporations like profits and know who their customers are. They start losing money, they will adjust their product. GTA is in its 5th edition now, so that would suggest companies realize who their core audience is. Here's why this is interesting. Are you familiar with Mighty Number 9?
Mighty Number 9? No, I don't think so.
Have you heard about this fiasco?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, so basically, where do I start here? I believe the original creator of Mega Man, what is his fucking name? Hold on, I'm gonna Google this.
This is the benefit of podcasting when we're in front of our computers.
Yeah. Keiji Inafune.
Okay.
So he, I don't know, he eventually, like, apparently wasn't doing the Mega Man games anymore. And then he was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just going to kind of fucking, like, make a Mega Man game and call it something else. Basically. And so what happened was, he started a Kickstarter, which was, like, crazy successful, obviously, because we all want old school Mega Man games back. And he hired on a social justice warrior community manager who blocked people, censored people, and generally, you know, was really shitty. So people... So their core audience started abandoning them because, you know, they didn't like being censored and they didn't like being told to shut up. And they apparently like told people they weren't going to refund their money.
Wow.
Because of their decision, you know, they didn't want that community outreach leader or whatever.
Wow. That's
So that game's gonna go down the shit real quick. They're up for money for DLC now.
Are you serious? Really?
Dude. It's just unbelievable how quickly people sell out and then like they're just shit now. It's so sad.
It is very sad. That's man, and that's a good point about, you know, companies, if they lose money in something, then they're gonna try and find a way to make money. You know, because the video game industry, you know, like, let's talk about like some of the biggest video game franchises that are out there. Let's see, we got the Mario franchise, which is, according to Anita Sarkeesian, sexist because, you know, it's all about, rescuing the princess who's in danger. But yet, in the latest one, actually, the princess does not get captured. She is actually a playable character through the adventure, if you know what I'm talking about. What is it, Mario 3D Land? something like that. I don't know if you ever played that one.
I don't think I have, no.
That one's, it's actually really fun, and you get to play as Peach, and there's these little fairy things that Bowser captures that are the damsels in distress, so to speak. But it's still like, I feel like Nintendo has answered the call of whatever people are like, oh, I want to, be a girl or whatever for some bullshit reason, or I don't even know, but I mean, we've got that now, and what other big franchise? We got Call of Duty, we got Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty and Grand Theft. Call of Duty isn't really so much. It's definitely a guy's thing. Guns, explosions, and lots of blood and guts. Let's see, and then Grand Theft Auto is, you could say, like. There was a lot of uproar about that whole thing that was added to the PS4 edition of GTA 5. I don't know if you saw any of the clips from that.
What is it?
There's like you could have first-person sex with a prostitute.
Oh, dude, yeah, I did see that.
Did you? I thought that shit was hilarious.
That was wicked funny. My buddy, I was actually playing GTA 5, and my buddy told me about that. I was like, hold on, stop, I'll tell you if it's weird. And so I did it. It's like really not that graphic. It's just like you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I kind of don't want to watch this anymore. This would probably be great if I was like 12. It was looking up for like jerk off material.
Yeah, like I don't know if you saw the same video, but I saw the video of this. He picks up this the first person video anyway. I don't know if I think it was the black dude in GTA 5. I don't know his name. I haven't actually played the game. But he picks up, I'm pretty sure it's him, he picks up a hooker, you've obviously seen the whole thing, and they do their thing, and then she gets out of the car, and he gets out, and he punches her in the face, and this is behind the car too, so she falls over.
Oh,
and
no.
She's just down on the ground. He gets back in the car and backs out on top of her, and it's just... It was completely random, but I could see like a lot of people would probably get pissed off at some stupid shit like that. But it's a video game. Like, why would you take that kind of thing seriously?
Well, see, if you saw that in real life, you'd be so angry, wouldn't you? You'd be pissed.
Oh,
You'd
yeah,
be like,
of course.
Puncher.
That's why we put things like that in video games. You know? So we see less of that in real life, or at least that's what I'd like to think is what video games are all about.
Well, yeah, I think they're a good outlet for rage and stuff like that. Unless you're the kind of fucking kid who logs on to Call of Duty and... But I had the fucking shotgun! How did he kill me? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious?
I mean, it's just kind of like the whole thing with... when we talk about Gamergate, we're talking... There's two sides to the same coin, which is... We want less gender politics in our reviews, and then the other side is we want less sexism in our video games. And it's a completely different message, but it's just kind of like blaming video games for sexism is like blaming movies for violence. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. Like
there was that whole thing with that kid who murdered like an 8-year-old kid who murdered like this younger kid because it was Scream. It was when Scream the movie had come out or whatever, some crazy shit like that. And I mean. There are situations like that happen, and it's personally I think it's just mere circumstance where this kid just happened to think like this was okay, and his parents didn't. I mean, this kind of thing all goes down to parenting.
Yeah,
and definitely like if you let your 5-year-old play GTA on the weekends, then you're kind of got your priorities all wrong because. Then your kid is learning swears and how to pick up hookers and how to shoot a gun and all this crazy stuff. So it's just blaming video games. It's just it doesn't really compute,
Yeah.
So there's all that, but in the end, there are still people who are going to whine about it. You said you had a whole bunch of other stuff that was going that you wanted to talk about that were funny. I'd actually like to hear what these things were.
A couple of happenings this week. That was the other half of this segment. Like I said at the beginning, I've been working a lot this week, so I try to keep up on Twitter, but ever since like OP Sky. Oh, well, you probably don't know about this. Operation Skynet was a thing.
Skynet, like the Terminator thing. Skynet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So basically, what that was an attempt to decentralize Gamergate so that we weren't getting all of our information from, like, quote-unquote prominent figures. But this all ended up being fucking counterproductive because the prominent figures... Alright, well, hold on. Let me start over. In order to decentralize Gamergate, the idea was that we would use hashtag OPSkynet, and that if you saw someone using that hashtag, you would just go follow that person. And this was like I was saying, this was an attempt to decentralize by giving lesser known people more followers. Think of it as like a web with more lines as opposed to less, I guess.
Okay, I can see where you're going.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The idea was to like sort of equal out everyone's voice and tone down the e-celebrity thing. But the problem was that the e-celebrities were using OP Skynet too, so they were just getting bigger. And obviously they were probably growing at an exponential rate because whatever drew people to them in the first place, probably grabbed them more followers. Like there's certain very good-looking girls on Gamergate who get a lot of followers, I'm guessing, just because they're very good-looking.
Ha! Yeah, well, isn't that the same way with anything?
Well, it is, like, especially fucking Instagram. Be a beautiful woman, YouTube. Dye your hair, post selfies on Instagram, and you're basically Instagram famous.
Unfortunately, that's how it works. It works on Twitch, it works on YouTube, it just works all over the internet. It doesn't really matter what you can do, it's so long as you're attractive, right?
Yeah. So, fuck. Why did I even talk about OP Skynet? Do you recall?
Well, you were gonna go through all your events that you thought were funny because of this OP Skynet thing or whatever, is what you started with.
Alright, well, anyway, so the IDGA came up with a block list, or an algorithm to create a block list based on if you have followed Gamergaters or have hashtag about Gamergate, and this turned into be a massive disaster because, as has been continuously proven time after time, social justice warriors do not know how to fucking code. So what ended up happening was lots of IDGA employees accidentally got on the block list. People are home. And then the kicker was that Kentucky Fried Chicken got added to the block list.
What?
Like the Kentucky Fried Chicken Twitter.
Why? That's so random.
I don't know. I bet they just like follow someone who tweeted about Gamergate, and like that's enough to get it on. Apparently.
Oh, okay. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Comical happening of the week there.
Of the week.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. That's all I've got. I've had a.
Oh no, it's fine. I mean, thing has become like a Twitter war. Is really what it is. When it's
at the point.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's like, I mean, with the whole other side of the debate, there's like, it's just what Anita Sarkeesian just preaches about all the time, and then we've got this side about, we just want unbiased journalists. Will cry like, we need to be prominent about this, and we need to protest against this, and it's just like I've seen so many horrible tweets about Gamergate, and I think that I forgot what one that there was, but it was basically like something to do with like killing nerds or something. This wait, is it anti-Gamergate? That's probably what the other side of the coin is anti-Gamergate, or
yeah, I guess
the whole anti-Gamergate thing has really sort of. I mean, it's the internet, so it just kind of turns people into nasty, rabid monsters, and they just say horrible things about, people whom are just asking for something so simple, and we can't even have something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just obnoxious. And I think that that's the most frustrating thing about this whole justice debate that goes on day in and day out for anything, really. It's always there's always some card that feminism and a whole bunch of other communities can pull against things like this, when we could just simply make change and not make it about this group versus this group.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, it's just kind of one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can get that kind of shit resolved. I mean, I'm assuming that the goal of Gamergate is to make that known. All that,
well, yeah.
All the gaming journalism, the pure gaming journalism that is not completely biased.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Right on.
So, yeah, I mean, I got nothing else on that, unless you got something else.
No, I don't think so.
We got, so, now that we got that out of the way, we've got that all squared out. I mean, if anybody in the comments wants to bring up something, feel free. Shiv, I hope you're watching the chat. If anybody brings something up, we can completely segue into that. But we, I mean, if there's anything that people...
Give me 1 second.
All right. So for those of you who are watching, if there's anything that we are missing out on, because Shiv here is definitely one of the ones that follows this kind of thing. I don't really pay much attention to it. I just like talking about it. And we would have a girl here on, or a feminist or a girl here on with us tonight to share her opinion. But we've had one person who was afraid. She is afraid of receiving death threats and stuff like that, especially since she seems to be on the other side of this Gamergate debate. And I think that's unfortunate, because I feel like having two sides of the debate will really make for a better conversation. So if there's anything that we are missing, or anything that you would like us to talk about, feel free to post it in the comments. And
you want to talk about Birdman?
Yes, let's talk about Birdman. Seeing as how we're getting into the movie segment of this podcast. I saw Birdman a couple days ago, and it was a weird fucking movie, man.
Good, I like weird movies.
It was weird, and it was also one of those never-ending shot movies. Can't remember.
Like really long takes. They have really
long takes. Like I don't think the take even ended. It just kind of did the whole Hitchcockian thing where it would go into a dark spot, and then obviously it would cut because things would change, and there were no like cuts in the film at all. It was just kind of seamless integration between scene after scene, and it was cool. It was an interesting movie because
like that.
Michael Keaton plays a washed-up superhero actor, which is he's basically playing himself at that point, and he's trying to become relevant again by being in a play that he wants to do, and it's based on some book. I don't remember even what book it was. They never even mentioned it in the movie. But it's some drama play, and it's not doing so well after that he thought was horrible or whatever. And Edward Norton is a complete dickhead throughout the entire movie, and he I mean, it's great chemistry too, because it's kind of reminds me of the whole like theater kids versus the AV kids in high school and shit like that, because there was a scene that I was laughing so hard at, because basically there was a part in the movie where they have a preview of the play. I don't know if you've ever been to like a preview of a theatrical production where they sell tickets for half price and they're kind of practicing the show, and so you watch them practice, I guess. And there was a part where Edward Norton was drinking gin in the scene, and apparently it wasn't completely gin, and he was drunk, and apparently some of it was like water, like they watered it down a little bit, and he got so pissed he like threw the glass against the stage and shit like that, and his people are all pissed off. And so Michael Keaton's like, alright, I gotta talk to this guy because he's a complete dickhead. And he's like, let's go walk with me, we're gonna go get some coffee. So they walk into a bar, and they go into this bar, and Edward Norton basically gives him this whole speech where it's like, I own this town, this is my town, and, you know, everybody knows who I am, and stuff like this. You know, he's basically pulling the whole pretentious theater actor bullshit, which is what I scoff at all the time.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton, there's a part where this family walks up to Michael Keaton, and this woman is like, excuse me, do you think we could have a picture with you? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And one of the kids is like, who is this guy? And the mom's like, this is the guy who played Birdman. And they take a picture, or they go to take a picture, and the woman hands the phone to Edward Norton. And she doesn't even know who this guy is at all. She's, do you mind? it was so funny, because then he takes the picture, and Edward Norton's all like, really? Like, this is... And they take a picture together, and then that's it. They move on, and they don't even mention it in the movie. But it was subtle enough to the point where it was like, that's it. That's the difference between Hollywood actors and theater actors.
Yeah.
At least to me, because it was just a really entertaining movie. But it got really weird towards the end. There was a lot of like stuff that seemed very surreal, and it was like, what is going on? And there was a scene where like the actual Birdman character, like there's this whole thing where he's got like this complex of superheroism or whatever, because he did like 4 Birdman movies or something like that apparently. And
yeah.
So he's got like this persona that talks to him in his head. And there was a whole sequence where there was like a scene from a new potential Birdman movie, and it was really random and really weird, and it was just it got confusing I enjoyed the first 3/4 of the movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, if you're interested in seeing it, go see it, because if you like the long takes, if you like Michael Keaton and Edward Norton, Zach Galifianakis is in it.
Takes, and I love Edward Norton.
Zach Galifianakis has a small part in it too. He's a lawyer. He's Michael Keaton's lawyer. I think Naomi Watts is her name. She's in it as an actress. Emma Stone is in it. And it's interesting because the characters are interesting, but the story is kind of like what? But yeah, you know. Anyway, that was what I had seen recently. I'm probably gonna go and then probably Big Hero 6. But I got a lot of movies on my list to see, and Birdman is definitely one of those movies that I would recommend you go see before it's out of theaters.
Okay.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
We got well, all good. So anyway, you said you had seen Interstellar. Talk about Interstellar without spoiling it for me, because I haven't seen it.
It's hard for me too, but it's really good.
Is it really good?
I think it was easier for me to enjoy because I understood the concept of like relativity of time before. You know, like how if you're traveling at the speed of light, you experience time differently than on Earth. If you travel at the speed of light for like a couple of months, you'll be at the same age, but like Earth's time will have gone on a little longer.
Right.
You know, this isn't the exact ratio, but say like you were traveling for a year in light speed. Well, 2 years might have gone on Earth. But a lot of people didn't like it because they were like, oh, well, why, this is... fuck, it's hard for me to explain this without spoiling. Is a big factor in the movie because characters go through certain areas in space where, a little bit of time will happen for them, but a lot of time will pass on Earth. So, and I like that because I like movies where a lot of time passes because it increases like the scale of the movie, and in terms of scale, Interstellar really like knocked it out of the park.
Really?
Yeah, I mean you've got a story that goes on between galaxies over tons of years. There's no bigger scale there.
Huh.
It's the universe and time.
Yeah, that's some crazy Doctor Who talk right there too. It's too funny. I mean,
yeah,
just space and time, so fantastic. It just sounds like Interstellar is quite a complex movie as far as space travel is concerned. And I've been seeing a lot of articles of Neil deGrasse talking about all that stuff and how it's possible, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really read the article. I just sort of skimmed by it, and it was obviously some clickbait stuff, but
of course,
clearly, Mr. deGrasse Tyson really enjoyed Interstellar, so that makes me curious enough to want to go see it.
Please do. Please go see it in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX the second time, and it's so much better. The sound quality is incredible. Yeah, I've never seen an IMAX movie before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Doesn't that seem silly?
I've seen quite a few IMAX movies. I think the first one I saw was Inception, and one of the first ones I saw was Inception, and it was funny because there was a moment I was with two other friends when I was living up at Pine Manor College up in Boston, and basically we were all kind of like, this is our first time going to see an IMAX movie, and we were really interested in seeing Inception, and we were all excited. And I'm sitting there, and I literally say out loud, I'm like, okay, so what's the difference? Because at that point, it was like, the seating was a little more slanted, and the screen was bigger, but other than that, it was like, oh, okay. But what happened, at that moment when I said that, the fucking preview screen comes up, and it was beautiful. And at the same time, like, I was like, oh, and my friend was like, what? And the other guy that was next to him was like, holy fuck. And all at the same time, and it was hilarious. And I was like, okay, I gotta go see IMAX movies more often. And it was hysterical. But
yeah.
It was that, and then it was the AMC Lowe's is where I saw it too. And the other one was the fourth Underworld movie.
Mm-hmm.
Underworld Awakening, I think is what it was called. I don't really remember.
Okay.
All I know is that I saw it in IMAX and it was pretty cool.
Right on.
Yeah, so I guess I might just have to go when I head up to the city next time. I'll just have to go see it. Maybe I'll hit you up and we'll go see it together or some shit.
Come down my area. We have an IMAX down in Randolph.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
There you go.
Well, in any case,
I'm willing to see it for a third time.
I'm definitely down for going to see it too. So that'll be fun. So yeah, I mean, what else do we got to talk about tonight?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing, indeed.
Yeah,
I kind of feel bad because we didn't do a podcast last week, and I've been busy editing a whole bunch of shit for my YouTube channels.
I was in New York too for work.
Really? You were in New York City?
Yeah, no. I was in Albany filming a tournament.
Oh, Albany? Really? Where in Albany?
University of Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
See, that's funny because my folks used to live in Albany, and I lived in Malta, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's kind of close to the city, but, I mean, it's been a while since I've been there. So that's actually kind of funny that you were up there.
Yeah.
It must have been a long trip up there if you were working up there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
We went up Saturday night. We stayed, and then we filmed Sunday morning.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we didn't do a podcast last week, and it was mostly just because I have a lot of stuff going on, mostly here, down here. I've been avoiding my Twitch stream stuff, and it's mostly because I've been working on, and I've got all the footage together, and I've done the narration, and I gotta film it and stuff, and it's gonna be this big, epic thing, and you can actually see linked within this channel here for those of you who are watching, and I've got a series for Unturned, where my friends and I play Unturned together, and it's hilarious.
Let me.
Yeah, I think there are some episodes with you in it. I haven't really gotten far in it though. There's like 3 hours of footage I have to go through yet, so it's like a lot of stuff.
I love Unturned, dude.
Yeah, Unturned is really fun. We'll have to get back into that at some point. But yeah, there's that. I've got to do that series, and hopefully Jeremy's going to come up, and we're going to do some more Play It Bro episodes because I'm going to pick up like another Elgato HD thing. Play some high definition games on my PlayStation or whatever. See how it goes. But yeah, I guess next time I promise everybody we will be a little bit more prepared. We'll probably go for about an hour. But today I feel like I don't want to drag it out any longer than it probably should be. That stuff that's being uploaded very soon, as well as Twitch highlights that are uploaded regularly. You can find my Twitch stream through my YouTube channel. You can follow me at Twitter at @TheMattCosta, and you can follow Shiva Von Shiva at Shiva Von Shiva. You can tweet us. You can send us ideas for our next conversation on a late night. You can also like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/TheMatthewCosta. Where you can I update that as often as I can with either our podcast or my Twitch stream or my YouTube videos, whatever. That's the closest you're going to get to adding me on Facebook. And then I would say that's about it. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you guys next Saturday here on Late Night. Peace out.